Salutations, this is Gremdavel. Welcome back to our Let's Play of A Dark Room. So last time we left off, I think I was kind of interrupted by my wife coming in, and I just kind of stopped it there because I didn't have a lot of time to record, and also I just, it's a little harder for me. I was kind of going on, a kind of philosophical speech or whatever, improvisation, and it's a little harder to do that when there's someone else in the room with you. So I kind of stopped there. So let's see where we left off. What were we saving up for? Let's keep stoking the fire here. We can keep gathering wood, check our traps, and what were we doing? I think we're saving up for a compass, and we actually have enough furs at this point to do that. We have enough scales. We have enough teeth. Let's do it. The compass points east. Okay. Oh, we have a dusty path now. Oh, with supplies, armor, water, and charm. Okay. And I can add charm. We have free 9 supplies, but we don't know. It doesn't look like we can put that into armor. We can only put 1 into charm. So I guess we will. That's interesting. So now that we have that, what else do we... I guess we can just make a smokehouse and a workshop next. So let's see. Smokehouse is 600 wood. We can actually do this right now. We're getting a lot of wood very fast now. Builder finishes the smokehouse. She looks hungry. So what does the smokehouse give us? Charcutier. I don't know how to pronounce that. Charcutier, I think. Something like that. So we can make cured meat. We'll add a couple of these. Minus 10 meat. Well, we better be getting at least that much meat. Minus 10 wood also. Jeez. You know what? We better just have 1 charcutier, because that is a lot of meat and wood that it consumes. Wow. Okay. We'll get more furs this way. We don't have a tanner right now, but we could at this point, because we're getting 10 fur per 10 seconds. We can lose 5 of those and get a leather. We're going to keep making bait. I think we're getting more bait than we're using. And our meat, we're getting 10 and using 5. So we can still use some of that for bait. Okay. Check our traps. A stranger arrives in the night. So I think we are full again on gatherers. Stoke the fire. We can get another hut. We probably should. Because we really need more gatherers for more wood. Oh, I don't have enough wood. Right, we need 450. At this point, I could start looking into just straight up buying scales and teeth, but I don't know what those are good for. What can you use those for? Yeah, other than just... So we need leather also for the workshop. And we are making that very slowly with our tanner. Yeah. We could make more. We could turn more fur into... We could turn all of our fur into leather. You know what? Let's do that for the time being. Yeah. We still need more gatherers. But I guess for the time being, we're just going to have to get... We're only... Ooh, right. Because of the charcutier, we're really not making many. We're just making 1 per 10 seconds, plus the gather wood. That is not a lot. You know what? Maybe I drop the charcutier until we get 1 more hut. Yeah. And then I'll add it. Yeah, I think that's what we're going to do. Okay. So, yeah, that was a lot of kind of catching up since last time, just in terms of like what's actually going on in this game. But last time we had just kind of been talking about, I had been talking about my faith. Just because the series sort of... We know that they're going to be moral and ethical decisions, and it's kind of a boring game to watch. I think, oh, cured meat we can make now, too. Restores 8 hit points. Huh. Okay. We can embark now. I think we're not ready for that. I think that might be part 2 of the game. We're definitely not ready. We don't have any armor. So I was talking about my faith. And, if you didn't watch last episode, basically in a nutshell, I was talking about how I believe in Scripture, kind of the canonized Judeo-Christian scriptures. I believe it's true. I don't believe that those scriptures, even though they're true, and they point to the existence of God and, a suffering Messiah and all that stuff, a lot of the stuff that people think about the Bible and what it says isn't necessarily true. It's not mutually exclusive with science or the pursuit of science, etc. And that's kind of where I left things off. And I wanted to talk about that specifically kind of in the vein of playing video games, because I'm really interested in video games. I'm interested in video games, not just, just enjoying them as a recreational activity, but just in thinking about why I enjoy it as a recreational activity. It's a really interesting hobby to enjoy when you think about why you get pleasure out of it for some of the games that we play. Obviously, there's the whole idea of like, I play video games for you get some sort of what's the word like dopamine. I don't know what you get, some sort of biochemical like reinforcement, like positive reinforcement when you solve puzzles, right? And there are a lot of video games as solving puzzles. You also get some sort of pleasure from winning, from like winning competition. And I think that's kind of like baked deep into just the human psyche and what it means to be, really just a living creature. Like, we want to be the best. That's natural selection. That's just naturally what we want to do. We want to be on top. And so it gives us pleasure when we are able to like prove to ourselves that we are the best at something. We are able to attract friends. And a nomad shuffles into view laden with makeshift bags bound with rough twine. Won't say where he came from, but it's clear that he's not staying. We can buy stuff. I don't think we need to buy anything from him, frankly. Yeah, bye. Bye, Felicia. Okay. Yeah, I think we're going to need the workshop to make armor. So we definitely want that before we do this Dusty Path thing. How we doing? Okay. We have enough for another hut now, so let's do it. Boom. Good. Hopefully we'll get 4 more villagers soon, and that'll help a lot with the wood. Then I think we can add another charcutier. Builder builds up a hut out in the forest, says word will get around. So I mentioned that, my faith and the scripture in general, it is my belief that it's not mutually exclusive with a lot of science. It's really not mutually exclusive with a lot of ideas that most people don't associate with, being a believer or being a like Christian or a Jew or whatever. And we have this idea now. It's become a pretty popular idea. I think Elon Musk talks about it pretty frequently, or kind of repopularized the idea in the past year. But there's this idea that we're all living in a simulation, right? And that idea has to be called something. I know it's got to be called something because it's a very popular idea. People like to talk about this idea all the time, that the real world, the reality in which we live, how do we know that we're not living in a simulation, right? And it's interesting to me, that idea is interesting to me as a believer, because I like to think about, is that idea that we're all that our reality is actually someone else playing Dwarf Fortress, for example, some simulation game, that we are basically just dwarves in a Dwarf Fortress game. We are just little, little avatars in a colony simulation game. Is that idea that our reality might just be some greater being simulation, is that idea mutually exclusive with Scripture, with the Bible? And I don't know that it is. I can't say for sure that it is, because a lot of what Scripture says, Scripture gives us, Scripture does give us a lot of some specifics about like what is and is not pleasing to God, what God's will is for us. But it also talks about just the mysterious nature of God. It talks a lot about how we are just unable to know, to have God's understanding. That God is, we can just barely, glimpse even a portion of God. Through the walls, shuffling noises can be heard. Can't tell what they're up to. All right, we'll investigate. A bundle of sticks wrapped in coarse furs. Great. Sticks and furs. We need 500 wood for another hut, and I think we might do that. I don't think we're going to just save up for a workshop because, well, actually, our leather is going to be at 100 soon. We could actually just save up. I think I do want one more gatherer, though. Or one more group of gatherers to get 36 population. Yeah, let's do that. We'll get one more hut. We'll bring up our charcutier to 1. And that'll be it. Yeah, we're almost at 500 wood. So, yeah. So, it's interesting to me that idea... I don't think that this idea is necessarily mutually exclusive to the Bible, just because the Bible is so focused on the mysterion of God. And that makes this idea even more interesting to me, because when I love playing colony simulation games. I love playing, Dwarf Fortress and RimWorld and heck, The Sims, like whatever. And the idea is also kind of explored a little bit in science fiction. On the most recent season of Black Mirror comes to mind. I think Black Mirror probably has I think they do have a lot of episodes where they kind of touch on this idea. But the most recent season has an episode where these real people are kind of like a computer simulation is made of these people, and they're put into what's basically a video game. And we know that these people aren't real, and at least as far as we understand what like a real person is, we know that they're just a bunch of ones and zeros. But for all intents and purposes, this avatar, this computer avatar, thinks that it's real. It feels the same things that a real person would feel, and we empathize with it because when we watch this avatar, as far as we're aware, it is the real person. There's really no difference other than the location in terms of like what we see and what we empathize with. And so, why isn't it? What's the difference here? A lot of science fiction explores this idea. It's the same thing with like iRobot. Like what makes the difference? What's the difference between, just any computer, any robot with an AI and a human being in terms of like soul and moral incumbency? An old wanderer arrives. He smiles warmly and asks for lodgings for the night. I need 100 cured meat. And we don't have any. Yeah, so we have to turn him away, unfortunately. Sorry? If I could have, I would have. Maybe. We have a lot of wood now. Let's get another hut. And that'll be the last hut for a while, I think. Now let's add another charcutier. We're going to get a little bit of cured meat this way. Yeah. So our wood right now is +5 per 10 seconds, but we have a little room for more gatherers too. We have our traps. So we'll slowly get more cured meat. I don't know how much cured meat we want, but we're basically going to save up at this point for a workshop. So we need 800 wood. We have the leather and we have the scale. So we just need the wood, and it shouldn't take too long, especially once we get these gatherers. Sorry, I'm still drinking my coffee from this morning. You can probably tell just from my voice that I'm still not quite 100% woke. So yeah, I really like this idea, and it makes me, when I play games like Dwarf Fortress, it makes me, there's a part of me that just can't, like I feel for my characters. I don't, if you're familiar with watching my RimWorld or Dwarf Fortress games, you probably know that I probably take the deaths of some of my characters harder than some other people that might let's play these games. I'm pretty. I'm pretty close with Civilian, right? She plays a lot of Dwarf Fortress, and she plays it in a fairly different style than I do. She's very cavalier with her treatment of dwarves, and that's fine. That's a very fun way to play it. I enjoy watching that. But when I play Dwarf Fortress, I don't know. I have a really hard time doing that. When a dwarf, especially one that I've like followed and know the name of, dies, and it's almost always my fault, or at least something that I could have prevented, because I am basically in charge of these little simulated lives. I feel bad. I always kind of wail. I go no, and it's not really serious. Like I'm not like rending my clothes or anything like that, but I feel for them. I feel some empathy, and I feel some I feel like I feel guilt. I feel a little bit of guilt playing the simulation. And that's really interesting to me. It kind of adds credence. I don't know whether or not we're all in a simulation. And about that idea, like, does it even matter whether... I don't think, for a believer like me, I don't think it really matters whether or not we're living in a simulation. Because whether we are or not... I mean, we are, right? Even if whether or not it's like a computer simulation or some other kind of created universe, like it's still a universe. It's still like a closed universe that someone else created for us to live in. So if you want to call it a simulation, you can, but it effectively doesn't really make a difference. There are similarities to what we do, what we make with our computer games, with our simulation games. And a wanderer arrives with an empty cart, says if he leaves with wood, he'll be back for more. Ooh, and we have 500 wood. So last time, no one came back. But you know what? I'm feeling generous. Let's give him 500 wood. We have it, and we've never been able to do a big thing like that in this game yet. That's a lot of wood, and we were saving it for a workshop, but I'm enjoying talking. How's our cured meat? 38. Excuse me, I'm kind of burping a little bit from my coffee. And the bagel and lox I had also earlier. Let's see. So our population's 36. The wood we're getting is 9 per 10 seconds, even with one charcutier. I could add another one, but then we'd be getting much less wood. I think I'm okay with this. We're getting a little bit of cured meat, slowly. Stoke that fire. So yeah, I think it really doesn't make that much of a difference, whether or not, like, if we were just created with whatever system that we can't really know that our God made us with, or whether we're a bunch of ones and zeros. Like, it doesn't matter as far as we're concerned. We are, just like these dwarves are kind of, have an overseer, have, someone that kind of controls what they can and can't do, maybe sets rules for them. And, really it's probably less to do with me as a player and more about Toady One, or Tarn Adams, the developer. He is more like the deity for these dwarves, because he is actually creating their world, creating their universe, creating the physics, the laws that govern that universe and their world. And, I guess the question comes up about whether or not they can have a soul, whether they can have free will, whether that's even possible. And, that, I don't know if that question that might be a silly question. It might be unanswerable, but I think it's really not more unanswerable than the question of, what is the nature of our soul? Do we have free will? And I don't know. I tend to think about these things a lot when I play simulation games. Maybe not like right when I'm playing, but but after I play, like, absolutely. I think about why I feel these things, why I feel for these simulated characters, and what the similarities are between these simulated worlds and our own reality, what their relationship is with the game, and what our relationship is with our own universe, their relationship with me, the player, and our relationship with God. That's really interesting. You know, if I could make a game, and I could make a, you know, I'm a developer. I could, in theory, make a game. But if I had the time to make a game, ideally, what I think I would love to do is create, you know, sort of a colony simulation, sort of like Dwarf Fortress and Wormworld, kind of like that, but with even more autonomy given to the characters, so that the player would still like give the colonists, for lack of a better word, the colonists, laws, maybe be able to interact with the world in a certain way, maybe change physics, maybe once in a while be able to interact with them directly. But for the most part, the characters would have to make their own decisions, have to decide whether or not to do what you ask them to do, have to decide whether or not you even exist. Let's see, a scout. The scout says she's been all over, willing to talk about it for a price. For 200 furs. 1,000 furs to learn scouting. Well, we can't do that, but, you know, we have the furs to and the scales to buy a map, sure. We uncovered a bit of the world. I think that might come into play when we actually embark. We can't learn scouting, but maybe we want to learn scouting before we embark. Oh, we can make more. We have more weight here. I don't know why. I don't know why we have more charms available. I assume that took a gatherer, right? Let's see, 12. Oh, no, it didn't take a gatherer. Really? Oh, this is what supplies we would bring on an embark. I see. Okay, so that's not doing anything right now until we actually embark. Oh, we have a ton of wood. I was not paying attention. Okay, let's build a workshop. Boom. Okay, now we can craft armor. We need 200 leather for that, and scales. A rucksack. So we need a lot of leather. We can already make a bone spear. Let's do it. Let's make a water skin. Let's make a torch. Okay. Where's the water skin? Where did that go? Is it not listed here? Well, we definitely, before we leave, we want a rucksack and an armor. Rucksack? Rucksack? Check traps. We will add the bone spear. Oh, and that took 2 slots. It has a weight of 2. We want a torch. We probably don't need all these charms. Water. Okay, so now water is listed here. It doesn't take up weight, but we definitely want armor. So we'll wait until we have that. So to get armor, we have a lot of wood right now. Do we need wood for anything else? No. Bone spear, but let's just make more huts then. 2 more huts. Great. All of our wood, I think, at this point can go to huts. Because we're going to need leather. We're going to need a lot of leather. Okay, so let's do that. So we're going to need furs. We're going to need hunters. We need less wood now. Okay. Yeah, now we're not really getting much wood at all. In fact, we're getting negative wood. Of course, we're gathering wood also, so that might be fine. We also have more huts, so we'll be getting more gatherers. Yeah, already we just got some gatherers, all dust and bones, and we now have a positive net wood increase. Okay, good. We have enough scales for armor now. We just need the leather, and we're getting there. We are getting there. So now we have more fur. Yeah, all of our fur we're turning into leather. And that's fine. We're also getting some from traps. Like right now, yeah, we just got like 9 fur from checking the traps. Okay, good. Keep stoking that fire. Once we get that armor, I guess we'll embark. I guess we're going to be ready for the next step. Well, and the rucksack. I can't forget about the rucksack. Oh, that'll increase our weight capacity, won't it? So we might even want more, like another torch, a backup water skin, a backup spear. Yeah, we might do that. And maybe we wait for another scout so we can learn scouting? Yeah, this game definitely just became a lot more interesting just because we know that there's going to be a phase 2, and now we're basically like preparing for that phase. I think that'll probably happen next episode, but still, this Let's Play has definitely been a lot longer than I thought. I thought this would be like a one-off, like a half-hour thing, and it's definitely taking a lot longer. But I'm glad it's not. I think this is fun and interesting for me, and I'm glad I get to like start talking about some of the stuff, even if it's just kind of extemporaneous. Because I've been wanting to talk about some of this stuff for a while. I was kind of thinking it would be like a more formal, PowerPointy like series sort of thing, but I kind of like just talking about it freeform while we're playing a game. I kind of like that. And I think this might come up, this idea that like, I've kind of touched on a whole like a broad spectrum of ideas here, but the idea specifically that I feel bad for my dwarves in Dwarf Fortress when they die, that might come up here. And it also brings up the question, like, we have this sense of morality, and I guess I get my, there are kind of two kinds of morality. One is sort of a natural morality that we feel, this empathy that we feel, like, if something bad happens to someone and we feel bad, empathizing with them because it happened to them, and we try to prevent bad things happening to other people. That's one kind of morality, this sort of natural feeling that we have, this natural inclination to help other people. We might not always feel it, but everyone to some extent, unless they're like a pure sociopath, does feel that kind of empathy and does have some sort of natural sense of morality to kind of do unto others as you would have them do unto you, right? That's a pretty natural thing to feel and to want. And it makes sense on a societal, natural selection, how life just naturally works level. And then there's also this idea that we have a morality that is above us, that we might not even necessarily feel is natural. We might not think, oh, this is definitely the right thing, but we are told by our father that it's the right thing. And, this morality can make sense on a natural level by the fact that we have all been children. We have all not necessarily, it has not necessarily come natural to us when we were children that like, oh, doing this thing might lead to harm to us. We might not realize that like sticking a fork in an electrical socket might hurt us. We just see a hole and a metal stick, and hey, it looks like this might go into that. Let's solve this puzzle. And our parents have to tell us, hey, no, don't do that. Don't do that because I said so. It's hard for me to explain why this is bad, but it is bad for you. You will hurt yourself. I might not be able to explain to you like how the light socket works and the electricity and how all that works. That's a little above you, but don't do it. Do what I say. This is the law here. Spare furs to keep you warm at night. You know what? We don't really need, well, we're going to need the furs if we're going to trade them for scouting. I'll give you 100. I just want to try this because we've never done this before. We got some scraps of cloth behind. All right. So we're trying to be like, whenever we can at this point, we're trying to do like the most generous thing that the game allows us to do. This game has kind of made it so that like in real life, if a beggar came to you and said, hey, can I spend the night? You would, lending the beggar a single fur would be a very nice thing for you to do. I don't think that you would have to give the beggar 50 furs, let alone 100 furs, for any reason. So on that level, this game doesn't make any sense. It's just kind of like there's two options here, and can you do the better of the two options or the lesser of the two options? And it doesn't really connect with real life, at least that part of this game. So there's not a lot of like the moral decision making there is a little hacky maybe, but maybe that's kind of the point. Maybe at some point it's going to be like, hey, you gave that beggar, you could have given that beggar 50 furs. Why did you think that it would be a good idea to give it 100 furs, to give him or her 100 furs? Like that's way overkill. You didn't need to do that. Let's see. We could make another torch. Why not? Make a backup torch. We might need to make several. Well, once we build a rucksack, and we can now. Let's do that. All right, so now we're just waiting for 200 leather to build armor. All right, let's see here. So now our capacity is 20. Let's carry another torch. We can carry more cured meat. Although I guess we don't actually need as much cured meat anymore, right? I think we will want another spear and maybe more water. Yeah, it's fine. Water skin is, oh, we can't make more water or a rucksack. Okay. So we want armor. Let's bring another spear. And we'll see how much the water weighs, and then we'll take whatever else we can. So I think we don't need more cured meat. Maybe we lower our charcuterie. I don't think we need any more right now. And let's just get more furs. Is this going to be okay? A pack of snarling beasts pours out of the trees. The fight is short and bloody, but the beasts are repelled. The villagers retreat to mourn the dead. So this is just, I can't even make a decision here. It's just a random event. The beasts are repelled. Good. So I think we lost 2 population. Price is unfair. Okay. We should get them back soon, though. Hopefully. Okay. All right, this'll do for now. We just want a lot more furs. And oh no. Yeah, I don't have the leather yet, so we still want that leather. And we're doing what we can. Okay. So the bad thing about playing this game while I'm talking about this stuff is I keep my kind of train of thought keeps getting distracted. Yeah. But again, this is just kind of like a broad spectrum of ideas that I'm enjoying talking about. And really the idea is just to open up a discussion about this stuff. I love talking about this stuff. I love talking about my faith. I love talking about faith in relation to video games. I love talking about video games. Please talk about this stuff with me on my Discord channel, which is on my YouTube main page. You can find the link there. And also on Twitter, in the comments for this video, or just on my channel in general. I really love opening up discussions about this sort of stuff. And I think maybe at this point, and I'm sure there out of like the wide range of things that I've talked about, I'm sure more stuff will come up as we continue playing this game. But I think we're going to put a cut in here now. But let me know what of like the things I've talked about is most interesting to you that we can continue talking about, especially as it relates to maybe this game or some of the other games that we play, like Dwarf Fortress. So we're going to put a cut in here. Remember to leave comments, talk to me on Discord. I really enjoyed playing with you today. Next episode, we will almost definitely be embarking and going on to phase 2 of this game. We'll definitely have another 200 leather relatively soon, I think. We have more gatherers here. Yeah. Everything's fine. So yeah, that's going to be it. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.